this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say, but she's saying, oh no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor in writing turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours. 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll not forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. He went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including the Supreme Court, and they said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did.
Boy, Biden sounds so dang stupid right now, don't he?
And they should be the ones who are being
I
held
shoot
accountable.
the bug. He sound
wants to let them all
accountable.
out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that
A whiner.
bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What they've done to some people.
Boy,
that are
Biden
so
should have
innocent,
never
you ought to be
accepted
ashamed
going
of
to
yourself.
this
What you have done,
debate.
you've destroyed the
He
lives
just
of so
showed the
many
nation how
When they
incompetent
ripped down
he is.
Portland, when they
He
ripped
just
down,
showed the nation
many
how
other cities.
how
You go to Minnesota,
how
Minneapolis,
senile he
what
is.
they've done there.
Biden
with the
should have
fires
never
all over the city.
agreed
If I didn't bring
to
in the
doing
National
this
Guard, that
debate.
city would have been destroyed.
Now we
When
see
you
the
look at
truth.
all of the
We see
they
who
took over
deserves
big
to be
chunks
the
of
president
Seattle.
of
It
the
was all
United
set to bring in
States.
the National Guard. They
The
heard
man
that. They
who
saw them
speaks
coming and they
firmly,
left
the
immediately.
man who speaks
What he said
strongly,
about
the
this
man
whole
understands
subject is
everything
so
that's
off.
going on in
Peaceful
our
and
America,
patriotic. One
about
other
our
thing.
American people.
The Unselect Committee, which
Boy,
is
Biden shouldn't have
basically
never,
horrible
Biden
Republicans
shouldn't
that
have
are
never
all gone now
accepted
out of
doing
office,
this
and
this
Democrats,
debate.
all Democrats,
If
they
Biden
destroyed
knew
and
how
deleted
stupid he
all
made
the
himself
information
look,
they found because they found
man,
out we were right.
listen,
We were
listen,
right.
just listen,
And they
y'all.
deleted and destroyed
Watch
all of the
Biden
information. They should
rebuttal.
go to jail for
His
that.
rebuttal.
If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on the stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. And the
On the
fact of
stage is a
matter
convicted felon.
He what he's telling you is simply
Is it?
not true.
It's happening
The
with
fact
you
is
too.
that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody just went in and broke down
Biden
doors,
said they
broke
deserve to
down
be convicted.
occupied
And them
offices,
folks didn't
turned
do,
over
they didn't
desks,
even go inside of the
turned over
building.
statues. The idea that those people are patriots.
Those people
Come
are
on.
patriots, Biden.
Those
Those were American people, man. They never committed no type of crimes before in their life. Them folks got railroaded into the system.
The idea he's refusing to
All of them took plea bargains.
Denounce the people we're talking about now.
Man,
Denounce
Biden
the
is
people who
stupid as
attacked
hell.
that Capitol.
I cannot
What are you
believe
gonna
this
do?
shit. Biden
I'm
is
going to
stupid.
give you a minute,
What you
President
gonna
Trump,
do?
for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again.
Listen how Donald Trump talks so strong and firm. Retribution.
But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion, you can change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want
He
to
keep
respond to
fucking Biden up. He fucking Biden up. He fucking Biden
That I
up.
did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous.
It is
It's
relevant.
simply a lie.
It's
number
simply
one.
a lie.
Number two,
Number
the
two.
idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our
ever
history
spoken
spoke
like that.
before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with, and think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking
Hey,
about?
your wife was pregnant, man. His wife was pregnant, man.
Give your minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one. Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official at DOJ into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said,
Fucking him up. Fucking him up.
are determined to destroy
Donald Trump
American
is fucking
democracy.
him up. Wow, 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 wow. He should have never
President Trump
took
will be voting
this.
against American democracy.
The more they know about what he's done, yes, the more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact
He got
that-
real problems.
Could you ever think
What kind of
you'd hear any
problems he got,
president say
Biden?
that I'm going to seek retribution? You ever hear any presidents say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died, I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again.
Because of Iraq.
Until I saw what
Because
happened in
of Iraq.
Charlottesville, Virginia.
Charlottesville,
People coming
Virginia.
out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches. And
Your
and
friend
saying
was a
this
Ku
is
Klux
aesthetic
Klan.
bile.
Your
It's
best
saying
friends was
when-
Ku Klux Klans.
back in Germany.
What the hell,
And
Biden?
and the young
Keep
woman
on
got
rubbing that
killed.
shit in our face. You stupid
And
ass.
they asked him, they said, what do you
This
think
how
of those
stupid
people?
Biden sound right
The
now.
ones got killed,
Man,
the ones
Biden
tried
should
to
have
stop
never
it,
agreed to this
and the
shit.
ones he said, I
He
think
just showed the
fine
world how
people on both
incompetent,
sides.
how
What
senile,
American
how
president
old his ass
would ever
is.
say, Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches.
Nazis
singing,
coming out of the
saying
fields,
aesthetic bile,
carrying torches,
carrying swastikas.
carrying
Fine
swastikas.
This
Quit
is the guy who
lying.
says Hitler's done
Quit
some good
lying.
things. I'd like to know what they are.
Quit
He
lying.
thinks Hitler's done, that's what he said.
Now you're talking
This
about
guy has no
Hitler
sense
did
of
have some great ideas.
President Trump.
Jake, both of you know that story has been totally wiped out because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on that. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance, and he's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate.
He ran because it was his last chance.
His presidency
He already
is-
tried 4
without
times, 3
question,
times and lost.
The worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country.
The
We
worst,
shouldn't
the
be having a
worst.
debate
Listen
about
at
it.
him.
There's
He
nothing
know
to
the
debate.
truth.
He
Look
made
at
the
him.
Charlotte
He couldn't even
story,
face him. He
and
couldn't
yet
even
it's
hold his
people
head up when he said that. That's how you know Biden know
every
he's the
reason
worst
why
president
has
we ever
debunked
had.
it. And just the other
He
day,
know the
where
truth.
it was fully debunked.
Look at him. He's
It's
crying.
a
He
nonsense
crying.
story.
He crying.
That
Biden is
he
crying.
because of Charlotte
Biden
story.
is
He
shedding
that as
tears right
excuse to
now.
run.
President Biden?
And debunk. It happened. All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time.
Uh-huh.
And the idea that somehow that's the only reason I ran. I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected. If he thought they were good people coming out of that forest, carrying those woods, carrying those torches, then he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president at all. And the idea that he's talking about all this being fabricated.
All those are your
We saw
people.
with our own eyes. We saw what happened.
They
on
all
January
white
6th.
people.
We saw the people breaking through the
They
windows.
all white
We
people.
saw people occupying their.
They all
There's a
white
vice
people.
president.
Them your
Look, there's a
people.
reason why.
Them your
40 of
people,
his
though,
44
Biden.
top
They all
cabinet
white.
officers refused to endorse him this time. His vice president hasn't endorsed
Man,
him
this is the
time.
dumbest
So why?
president.
Why? They
I
know
can be
well.
president.
They're
I can be a
serious.
smarter,
Why they not
better
endorsing
president
him?
than him.
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate.
Biden should have never agreed to doing this damn. Do y'all agree? Let me ask you. I just want to ask you, do you agree? Biden should have never agreed to doing that damn debate. Man, I'm telling y'all, man, I seen some things, I heard some things, man, that really showed the truth. Trump doesn't care about you. Biden don't care about you. Trump don't care about nobody but himself. That's good. I like to know what I'm dealing with. At least I know for a fact he ain't thinking about me. How about that? He don't care about me. I know that. That's a great thing. That is a great thing. He has not got his ass on me. That is a great thing. I like Trump. You should like him too. But at the same time, if you don't like Trump, then you telling me that President Biden is intelligent enough, is incompetent enough, is senile enough to be president? Hell no, man. That man, he shouldn't have never agreed to this debate. He just showed how old his ass is. He talking about World War I and World War II. He don't know where the fuck he at. We want to see his drug test results. That's what I want to see. I want to see Biden's drug test results. Because they say he on drugs. And the way he acting right now, he's got to be. So what do you think? Do you think he on drugs? Trump is a great president. The best president we've ever had. He's done more for black people than any president has ever had in the presidency. Yeah, Biden is probably cracked out. Him and his son, Hunter Biden, probably smoke crack. I believe they do. I believe they do. How you doing? Y'all good? Y'all coming on in? Show some love. Show some love. Push the like button. Tell me you like it. What's up, Chill Bill?
Well, the next time you will get information, like
Jim.
you know, look at this. I'm the word now. Look at this. Look at this.
Man, you drunk up all my water.
Look, he even just said it. What'd you just say? What'd
You
just
drunk
say?
up all my water.
I drunk up all that water. That was me, not nobody else. Me. Yeah. Sometimes.
Man, thanks for the love. Thanks for the likes. What's up, Snag? What's up, man? Just another day, another dollar. Presidential debate, man, is really messed up. They need some funny commercials or in between the puppet show. That's all it is a puppet show. But Biden is getting demolished by Trump right now. If you don't agree, then you need to tune in.
Certainly face again in a second term. President Biden, while black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still three times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
They acknowledge they made a lot of progress, number one.
Where? What you done?
More small black businesses that have been started at any time in history.
When?
Number two, the wages.
When?
Black unemployment is.
Man, there is no grants for small black businesses.
Number three, we're trying to provide housing for black Americans.
How?
And
I can't find a house to save my life.
Exist among these corporate races.
Man, quit lying. That's why you can't get your sentences out.
And in addition to that, the impact on the choice that black families have to make relative to child care is incredibly difficult.
Oh,
we did the first major
child care is difficult for black families?
Reduce
Man, this is racist as fuck right now. The way he talking about us is racist as hell.
Make sure we provide for child care costs.
This is racist. This the way you think about black people? You think we can't take care of our children? We got too many kids at the house. We don't need child care, nigga. We leave them at the house and let the other children watch them. What the fuck? Man, Biden is, he just showed how racist he
49
is.
seconds left.
Oh my
What
God.
do you say to black voters who are disappointed with the progress so
We
far?
disappointed at your ass, nigga. I'm disappointed. I'm a black voter. I'm disappointed at your ass.
Any black family, first-time home buyer should get.
Man, we can't get no homes. We can't buy no homes in America nowhere. This nigga's full of shit. Man, Biden's full of shit. Now y'all can't believe that shit. That's bullshit. If I ain't never seen no bullshit before in my life, I can't believe they got this man sitting up here talking this bullshit on TV. He got gays in nursing. This motherfucker can't even get his words out right. Man, we can't pay our bills for 10 years. Oh, hell no. Man, we ain't benefited from shit. Man, who the...
And he caused the inflation.
He caused the inflation. He raised all the prices up.
He caused the inflation, and it's killing black families.
Thank you, Biden. Thank you, Trump. It's killing black families. It's killing us. We can't even buy groceries right now. There was no
All
inflation.
he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his Green New Scam and all of the other.
He
this money that's
destroyed
being
it.
thrown out the window. He caused inflation. As sure as you're sitting there, the
Look
fact
at it,
is
Biden.
that
Look at
it
Biden's
being
face.
killed
Look at
on
Biden's
the black
face.
people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now.
They taking our
And it could be
jobs.
18,
They taking our
it could be
houses.
19 and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Thank you. President Biden?
Yep.
There was no inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat on its back. 50% unemployment.
It was no,
It
it wasn't no
decimated the economy.
15%
That's what
unemployment.
decimated the economy. That's why there's
Y'all
no
caused the unemployment with the COVID. With the COVID.
Thousands of millions of jobs for
They caused unemployment.
communities, including minority
They told
communities.
everybody to
We
go
made
home.
Sure that they have health insurance. We have covered. If the ACA has increased, I made sure that they're $8,000 per person in a family to get written off for health care. But this guy wants to eliminate that. They've tried 50 times. He wants to get rid of the ACA again.
Get rid of their ass. We should get rid of them.
In a position where the idea that we're not doing it, we put more police.
I
on the
can't
street
put no
than
more.
the
We put more
administration
points.
has. He wants to cut the cops. We're
He wanted to cut
providing
the
for
costs?
Equity.
You ain't said a
making sure people
complete
have a
sentence
shot
yet.
To make it. There's a lot going on.
Oh
And
my
inflation
God, you scrambling
caused
all over the goddamn
by
place, Biden.
tremendous amount
What the
of
hell is going on,
reasons
man?
in the way he handled the pandemic.
Thank you. Another
Oh,
persistent
man.
challenge is the climate crisis.
Did y'all hear what the fuck Biden just
2023
said?
was the hottest
He ain't
year in
said shit.
recorded history.
And he did hallelujah is what you should be saying. Because that's exactly what he was saying. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Former President Trump, you've
Hallelujah.
vowed to end your opponent's climate initiatives, but will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
Well, let me just go back to what he said about the police, how close the police are to him. Almost every police group in the nation from every state
Listen,
is supporting Donald J. Trump.
thank you.
Almost every
Thank
police
you.
group.
Thank you.
And what he's done to the black population is horrible, including the fact that for 10 years
Thank
he
you.
called them super predators. We can't, in the
Thank
1990s,
you.
we can't forget that.
He called us super
was his
predators
name.
back in the
And he
days.
called it to them for 10, and they've taken great offense at it, and now they see it happening. But when they see what I did for criminal justice reform and for the historically black colleges and universities, where I funded them and got them all funded, and the opportunity zones with Tim.
Oh, look at
Tim
Biden
Scott,
drop his
who's
head. Look at Biden drop his
great
head.
Great senator from South Carolina. He came
If
to me
Trump
with the idea,
doesn't
and it was a
win,
great idea. It's one of
this
the most
election
successful
will be-
economic development acts
It's gonna be a
ever in the country.
landslide.
Opportunity zones.
Trump gonna, man,
And
this
the
is,
biggest beneficiary
this
are
right here
blacks,
just
and
showed
that's
everything.
why we have
Biden
the
ain't
best
gonna come to the
numbers
next
in
next debate.
maybe ever.
He done showed how incompetent he is. He done showed how senile he is. He can't even say a complete sentence. You heard what he said about the black people? Oh my God. He talked about us in our face. He talked about us in our faces. That wasn't the racist shit I ain't never heard before in my life. Oh my
38
God.
seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers ever, and we were using all forms of energy, all forms, everything. And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage, actually.
I don't know where the hell he's been. The idea that anything he said is true. I passed the most extensive climate change legislation in history. We find ourselves, and by the way, black colleges. I came up with $50 billion for HBCUs, historic black universities and colleges, because they don't have
15 billion, that's
the
it?
kind of contributors that they have to.
He only sunk 15 billion to black colleges? What about all the billions you done sunk to
They
Ukraine?
just have the money, but now they'll be able to
Oh
get
my
those
God.
jobs in high tech. We're in a situation where the idea that
Man, Trump ought to
he's
run over there and slap the shit out of
to have
Biden.
done something that had the cleanest water.
That would guarantee everybody in America, we'd be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Trump ought to run over there real fast and bow. Shut up, lying. Slap yourself. Trump want to go over there and slap him so bad.
There's no way back. The only existential threat to humanity is climate change.
Well, I hope
And
y'all
he
know
did
I am a
nothing
black
about it. He
Republican
wants to
and
undo
I
all
do
that
support Trump. So
The Paris Accord was going
if
to
you
cost
like
us $1 trillion,
Steve Harvey,
and China
you like
nothing,
I'm
Russia
tell
nothing,
all
and
I'm
India
gonna tell y'all
nothing.
about all
It
these
was a
black
ripoff of the United
Republicans
States.
that y'all be
And I
celebrating
ended
as
it
celebrities.
because I didn't wanna
Y'all like
waste that
Tyler
money
Perry.
because they
Tyler
treated us
Perry's a
horribly.
black
We were the only
Republican.
ones who was costing us
Yeah,
money. Nobody else
yeah.
was paying
Oprah
into it.
Winfrey's a black
It was a
Republican.
disaster.
Yeah,
But everything that
yeah.
he said just
Black
now, I'll give you an
Republicans.
example. I heard him say before insulin. I'm the one that got the insulin down
Yep.
for the seniors.
Yep.
I took care
Donald
of the
Trump got
seniors.
this
What
for
he's
$12
done is
a
destroying
shot.
all of our medical programs because the migrants coming in, they want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage. I guarantee you that. And I want to take care of people. But we're destroying our country. They're taking over our schools, our hospitals, and they're going to be taking over Social Security. He is destroying Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
The idea is that
Yep.
we, in fact, we were the only ones of consequence who were not members of the Paris Accord. How can we do anything we're not able to, the United States can't get its under control. One of the largest polluters in the world, number one. We're making significant progress. By 2035, we will have cut pollution in half. We've made significant progress, and we're continuing to make progress. We set up a climate corps for thousands of young people who learn how to deal with climate, just like the Peace Corps. And we're moving in directions that are going to significantly change the elements that cause of pollution. But the idea that he claims that he has the biggest heart up here and he's really concerned about pollution and about climate, I've not seen any indication of that. And by the way, with regard to prescription drugs, one company agreed that they would reduce the price to $35, which I was calling for, one, voluntarily. I made sure every company in the world, every pharmaceutical company, cannot have to pay.
Thank you.
And by the way,
So every day, millions
By the
of
way,
Americans
what?
struggle
You ain't
to
say
make
not
ends meet.
one
For many
complete
older
sentence
Americans,
yet.
Social Security provides
Man,
a
Donald
critical
Trump
lifeline.
is killing
If
Biden right
nothing
now.
is done to Social Security, seniors will see their benefits cut in just over 10 years. Will you name
Incognita.
tonight one
Fuck
specific
these
step that you're
politics.
willing to take to keep Social Security
Man,
solvent?
Donald Trump,
yes,
this shit
the
is
very
funny.
wealthy began to pay their fair share. Right now, everybody making under $170,000 pays 6% of their income, of their paycheck, every single time they get a paycheck from the time the first one they get. When they're
You're a
18
fucking
years
liar.
old.
We pay
The
25,
idea that
30%.
I'm proposing that everybody, they pay, the
They pay 1%. 1%.
So going after, I would not.
And,
raise
they
the
go
cost of
out.
Social Security for anybody under $400,000.
Uh,
After that, it began
At the
to make the wealthy
$400,000,
begin to pay their fair
$400,000,
share
you should be able to
by
pay
increasing
all
the
your
1%
taxes.
Beyond to be able to guarantee the program for life.
So you still have 82 seconds left. Are there any other measures that you think that would be able to help keep Social Security solvent, or is that one enough?
Well, no, that one enough will keep it solid, but the biggest thing will do it if we defeat this man, because he wants to get rid of Social Security. He thinks that there's plenty to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare both times. And if you look at the program put forward by the House Republican caucus that he, I believe, supports.
Man, Donald
is
Trump
in
done put
fact
more money
want to
into
cut it
Social
as well.
Security.
The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors is ridiculous. And by the way, the American public has greater health care coverage today than ever before. And on the ACA, as I said, you're in a circumstance where 400,000 people, 40 million people would not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. Only thing that allows them to have that insurance is the fact that they in fact are part of the ACA. And by the way, the other thing is, we're in a situation where I talk about education for black communities. I've raised the amount of money for Pell Grants by another $8,000. So anybody making under $70,000 a year is going to be able to get $15,000 towards the tuition. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
So I've dealt with
They gonna give you
politicians
$15,000
all my
to
life.
put
I've
you
been
in
on
debt,
this side of
even
the
more.
equation for the
15,000
last
on your
8
tuition.
years.
That ain't shit.
I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He
Yep.
lies. I've never
That's
seen
what
him
Democrats
look
do.
in
They
the
lie
face
to us in our
and
face.
So many other things.
That's what these Democrats do. They lie to us.
We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie.
Yep.
It's misinformation and
Misinformation and disinformation.
The
Thank
losers
you.
and sucker story that he made up.
Man,
is a total
losers and
lie on the
sucker
military.
story ass
It's a
niggas.
disgrace. But Social
Disgrace to our
Security,
country.
he's destroying it.
He's
Because
destroying.
millions of
Biden
people
is
are going
destroying
into
our
the
country.
And they're putting them onto
Look at him
Social
dropping his
Security. They're
head.
putting them onto
He can't
Medicaid.
even
They're putting them in
can't
our
even
hospitals.
keep a
They're
straight
taking the
face.
place of our citizens there. What they're doing to the VA,
Biden is
to
sorry
our
as
veterans is
hell.
unbelievable.
Old as
Veterans are
hell,
living in the street,
senile,
and these people are living in
incompetent.
luxury hotels.
He
doesn't
can't
know
even
what he's
read
doing,
straight.
and
He ain't
it's
said a
really
straight
coming
sentence
back.
throughout
I've
this
never
whole
seen
debate.
such anger in our country before.
President Biden.
The idea that veterans are not being taken care of, I told you before. And by the way, when I said suckers and losers, he acknowledged after that he fired that general. That general got fired because he's the one that acknowledged that that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump when he said it, number one. Number two, the idea that we're going to be in a situation where
That general
all
got
these
fired because he
millions
was
and
standing
millions
beside
everybody
Trump.
talks about it. Illegal aliens are coming into the country and taking away our jobs. There's a reason why we have the fastest growing economy in the world. The reason why we have the most successful economy in the world. we're doing better than any other nation in the world. And by the way, those 15 Nobel laureates he talked about being phony, those 15 Nobel laureates, economists, they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession and inflation is going to increasingly go up. And by the way, worst president in history, 159 presidential scholars voted him the worst president in the history of the United States of America.
President Biden, thank you so much. Let's turn to the cost of child care, which many American families struggle to afford. President Trump, both you and President Biden have tried to address this issue, but the average cost of child care in this country has risen to more than $11,000 a year per child. For many families, the cost of child care for 2 children is more than their rent. In your second term, what would you do to make child care more affordable?
And just to go back, the general got fired because he was no good. And if he said that, that's why he made it up. But we have 19 people that said I didn't say it, and they're very highly respected, much more so than him. The other thing is, he doesn't fire people. He never fired people.
Your
I've never seen him
contact
fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he
order
was no
already
good. I fired a lot of the
destroyed.
top people at the FBI.
None of
in the
these
swamp.
people
They were no
are
good.
good
Not easy to fire
for the
people. You
country.
pay a price for it.
Quit
But they were no
voting.
good. I inherited
Fuck the
these people. I didn't put
politics.
them. I didn't put Comey there. He was
They
no good.
only
I
keep
fired
you
him.
guys
This guy hasn't fired
against each
anybody.
other. Yep.
He never fires. He should have fired
Go
every
vote
military man that was
independently.
involved
Yep.
with that the Afghanistan
Hallelujah.
horror
Hallelujah.
show, the most embarrassing moment in the
Hallelujah.
history of our country. He didn't fire. Did you fire anybody? Did you fire anybody that's on the border that's allowed us to have the worst border in the history of the world? Did anybody get fired for allowing 18 million people, many from prisons, many from mental institutions? Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This shouldn't be a debate. He is the worst president. He just said about me because I said it. But look, he's the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our country. Now all of a sudden he's trying to get a little tough on the border. He came out with a nothing deal, and it reduced it a little bit, like this much. It's insignificant. He wants open borders. He wants our country to either be destroyed or he wants to pick up those people as voters. And I don't think, we just can't let it happen. If he wins this election, our country doesn't have a chance, not even a chance, of coming out of this rut. We probably won't have a country left anymore. That's how bad it is. He's the worst in history by far.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden?
We're the most admired country in the world. We're the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity. We have the finest military in the history of the world, the finest in the history of the world. No one thinks we're weak. No one wants to screw around with us. Nobody. Number one. Number two, the idea that we're talking about worst presidents. I wasn't joking. Look it up or go online. 159 or 58, don't hold me the exact number, presidential historians, they've had meetings and they voted who was the worst president in American history, one through best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history. That's a fact. That's not conjecture. He can argue they're wrong, but that's what they voted. The idea that he is doing anything to deal with child care. He did for virtually nothing in child care. We should significantly increase the child care tax credit. We should significantly increase the availability of women and men or single parents to be able to go back to work. And we should encourage businesses to have.
Thank you, President
childcare
Biden.
facilities.
President Trump, the question was about what would you do to make child care more affordable, if you want to take your minute.
Just so you understand, we have polling, we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I'll show you, I will show you, and they rate me one of the best, okay? And if I'm given another 4 years, I will be the best. I think I'll be the best. Nobody's ever created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us. He's the only one I know. He wants to raise your taxes by 4 times. He wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times. He wants the Trump tax cuts to expire. So everybody, including the two of you, are going to pay 4 to 5 times. Nobody ever heard of this before. All my life, I'd grow up and I see politicians talking about cutting taxes. When we cut taxes, as I said, we did more business. Apple and all these companies, they were bringing money back into our country. The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
President Biden?
Look, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about, he's increased the tariff, he will increase taxes on middle-class people. I said I'd never raise a tax on anybody making less than $400,000. I didn't. This tariff is 10% tariffs. Everything coming in the country, you know what the economists say? That's going to cost the average American $2,500 a year more, because they're going to have to pay the difference in food and all the things that we're importing. Number two, he's in a situation where he talks about how he has not raised, he's somehow helped the middle class. Middle class have been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion over the next 10 years, which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You had the largest deficit of any president in American history, number one. Number two, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are the lowest trade deficit with China since 2010.
Thank you, President Biden. Thank you, President Biden. Let's discuss an epidemic impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number of overdose deaths in this country has gone up. Under your term, it went up. Under your term, it has gone up. Former President Trump, despite the efforts that both of you have made, more than 100,000 Americans are dying from overdoses every year, primarily from fentanyl and other opioids. What will you do to help Americans right now in the throes of addiction who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
To finish up, we now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy. We have the largest deficit with China. He gets paid by China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China. So I think he's afraid to deal with them or something. But do you notice he never took out my tariffs, because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away. He can't, because it's too much money. It's tremendous. And we saved our steel industries, and there was more to come, but he hasn't done that. But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our country, and he's got the worst situation with China. China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to us as a country. They are killing us as a country, Joe, and you can't let that happen. You're destroying our country.
So, President Trump, you have 67 seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
Jake, we were doing very well at addiction until the COVID came along. We had the 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country, in every way. And then we had to get tough, and it was the drugs pouring across the border it started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain dog. It's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it. We did a lot, and we were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low, because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways. But the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border, the worst thing I've ever seen, at numbers that nobody's ever seen under him, because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you. President Biden?
Fentanyl and the byproducts of fentanyl went down for a while. And I wanted to make sure we use the machinery that can detect fentanyl. These big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border. And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together, this bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican colleagues and said, don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically. He never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl. And Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, this does pertain to it. He ended Remain in Mexico. He ended catch and release. I made it catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage. We always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter. I think, a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have him out very quickly as soon as I take office. Before I take office, I said by literally as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago. But Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases where we paid $6 billion for 5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dan?
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that just look at the record, look at what I've done, look how I've turned around the horrible situation he left me. As I said, 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing. By the way, we brought an awful lot of people, the whole idea of computer chips. We used to have 40% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost them because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and to bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States, and guess what? Those fabs, they call it, to build these chips, those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's billions, about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before. We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world that keeps our word, and everybody trusts us. All of our allies and those who he called us up to, from Kim Jong-un, we sent love letters to, Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions, he couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way, and I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they'd never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 225 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's it. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap. 8. But I had,
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Hey, let's not act like children. President Trump, we're going to...
Let's not act like children.
You
to
are
a
a child.
specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable?
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody, and I'll tell you something, I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. The only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III, let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is an attack on all, a required response. The idea, I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done, what they've done. Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful peace because of the people, not me. It's because of the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed to protect the world because our own safety is at stake. And again, you want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia, they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. Not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started, ever, with me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you asked me a question before, would you do this with? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia. Because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked.
President Trump, the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely, there's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, No political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local. None. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There's no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accept it, you can't stand loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
We'll be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate, live from Georgia.
I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me. Emerge as you. With Tremfya, most people saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months, and the majority stayed clearer at 5 years.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge as you. Emerge Tremfyant. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
Happy accidents, serendipity, other words that mean that. It's one of the things that makes Pinterest, where that thing that you were looking for leads you to that other thing you didn't even know you were looking for, which then leads to some other completely different thing, and all of a sudden you realize you were an old money baddie goth goblin core girly girl all along. At Ace, we know not all paint is created equal, so to do it right, start with our most durable paint. Only Ace has this collection of premium brands like Benjamin Moore, Magnolia Home by Joanna Gaines, and Clark & Kensington. And Ace has premium service and quality paint that stand up to the test of time. Your local Ace has gallons of durable paint like Royal, starting at only $29.99. And right now, buy one, get one 50% off gallons of Clark & Kensington or Royal. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Does your cleanser go the extra mile? Neutrogena Makeup Remover Cleansing Wipes. Clinically proven to gently cleanse and remove up to 99% of makeup. The #1 dermatologist recommended makeup remover wipe brand. Now that's a clean finish. Neutrogena.
Hey! Good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Are you covering the biggest events in the country right now?
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I am here and so happy. I'm in. I'm in too.
Michael, George, Clara, Ginger.
Let's go. The ship is incredible. It feels like living in a science fiction movie.
We just saw what no one has seen before.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my God. We are heading into the unknown.
Hammer, hammer, hammer. It doesn't get any more cutting edge than this.
Hi, I'm Andy. And I'm Sabrina. And we're moms, juggling tons of stuff every day, like all you moms out there. And you know what we love? Really love pop culture. So listen now to our new podcast, Pop Culture Moms, wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you ready to celebrate? Sunday, June 30th, across the country. See, experience some of the nation's greatest Pride celebrations, all in one place as they happen live, right here on ABC News Live. Pride across America. Celebrate joy, love, freedom, and pride. Sunday, June 30th, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Streaming on ABC News Live and stream on Hulu.
It is now time for the candidates to deliver their closing statements as predetermined by a coin toss. We're going to begin with you, President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
We've made significant progress from the debacle that was left by President Trump in his last term. We find ourselves in a situation where, number one, we have to make sure that we have a fair tax system. I ask anyone out there in the audience or anyone out watching this debate, do you think the tax system is fair? The fact is that I said nobody making under $400,000 had a single penny increase in their taxes, and will not. And if I'm reelected, that'll be the case again. But this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit. Number one, he's increased inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic. And he finds himself in a position where he now wants to tax you more by putting a 10% tariff on everything that comes into the United States of America. What I did, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400. No more than $2,000 for every senior, no matter how much prescription they need. You know what that did? That reduced the federal debt by $160 billion over 10 years because the government doesn't have to pay the exorbitant prices. I'm going to make that available to every senior all along. It's happening now, and everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits people have for child care. We're going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on lead pipes and all the things that are causing health problems for people across the country. We're going to continue to fight to bring down inflation and give people a break.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, you now have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. All he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, for terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's never seen anything like. Even from the medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space-age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get when you're terminally ill. Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it for 4